Today we offer your respect for the Miracle Sikavu compilation serials for those who do not open their eyes. All serials of different genres, so you know your own skin for gusto. Ale in front of him, how to continue. I want to generously acclaim my fast watchers and Tim who put likes and write a comment under my video. Ace mini stimuli do not stutter and prax uvati far away. Slow Horses. A spy thriller that has both humor and another portion of intrigue. Young British intelligence agent River Cartwright fails in training and lost a prestigious seat in the office of Regent's Park. He is exiled to Slough House. There are gathered the same delinquent employees who perform boring tasks for unpleasant toxic boss Jackson Lamb, who does what constantly rots the newcomer, reminding him how mediocre he blew his career. It should be noted that this story is similar to real justice in our country. The world. If you work well, then you are respected. If you work poorly, then you are not worth it. Waiting for something really very important. This story will really make you think first of all about whether it is it possible to seem worse if you are still capable of a feat? But things get interesting when River Cartwright is in secret, undertook to investigate the kidnapping of a Pakistani student by a criminal groupings. In the rhythm of life, physical events are developing in the city of San Diego. The heroine of the series, Sheila, belongs to the number of modest and shy women. The lady is engaged exclusively in housework, entirely and completely obeying the orders of her husband. She does not even dare to mention when communicating with her husband about her own desires and never tries to object to him. As a result, the fair sex develops significant internal complexes. She lacks any confidence in herself and her opportunities. The real salvation for Sheila suddenly becomes regular classes in a group of aerobics enthusiasts. At such moments, she mentally feels attractive and strong person, independent of the chosen one and not at all afraid of him. Thanks to training, a woman not only begins to look much better, she also has confidence in herself. A housewife, in the past constantly suppressed and humiliated by a life partner, turns into a determined and energetic lady. She decides to make a profitable business out of her hobby, and now she is not afraid of changes in fate. Billions. A series for those who love plot intricacies, interesting dialogues and charismatic characters who can think a few steps back. The protagonist of the series is the prosecutor. He is proud that from the day of his appointment did not lose a single lawsuit. But is Axelrod tough enough for him? Chuck Rhodes finds out about Bobby Axelrod's illegal activities, entrepreneur and owner of the Axe Capital Fund. In general, this time the prosecutor was caught not by a petty swindler, but by a strong opponent, in a fight with which you can suffer yourself. But there is a small nuance. Chuck's wife, Wendy, works in the rich man's company. She is not going to leave and everything suits her. And it is not known whether his beloved wife will take the side of her husband in the upcoming conflict. They are too friendly with Axelrod. At one point, the federal prosecutor manages to prove financial fraud and put the opponent in jail. But, having sold part of the assets, he is released. Opponents are addicted to solving problems and creating traps that they do not notice how jail time begins to threaten Wendy. Bodyguard. Decent English miniseries in the psychological thriller genre. The hero of the British series in the past is a professional military veteran Afghan war, got a new job, to guard the Minister of the Interior. In Afghanistan, he honed his military skills and knows perfectly well how to act in case of terrorist attacks and other force majeure. His work is clearly associated with danger, because Julia promotes life radical, completely new politics. Therefore, he needs to be constantly on the alert. Relations with Julia did not work out right away. At the same time, the hero absolutely does not share the views of the protected object. The Last Tycoon. Hollywood in the 1930s is an unforgettable era. Producer Monroe Starr goes to his goal. And the goal, by the way, cannot be achieved until it is pushed aside owner of the Brady Film Company. In the 30s of the last century, Hollywood began to flourish. And in general, the American film industry rose, towered over everything the world. It is here that two people are fighting for the head and guiding star of the entire industry. One of them is a very talented and promising young man named Monroe Starr, who is a producer and a good director. He competes with the current head of Hollywood, Pat Brady, known with vast experience behind him and incredible achievements. The current head of the film industry, Pat Bradley, makes a decision for himself: step away from their affairs, but before that find an excellent candidate capable of replace him in this responsible post. But he's very selective about it. Question and Beauty is aware of the fact that Monroe is not really for the sake of art wants to apply for his position and for the sake of a simple and banal thirst for profit. as he does not disdain by any means of earning money, and this place can be harmful to him. Nevertheless, Monroe is not going to back down. Foundation. We are immersed in a fantastic journey through the most remote corners of our galaxy of the future. Young girl Garn Dornick won a difficult mathematical competition, which greatly frightened the fantastic inhabitants of her settlement. At the center of the story are several purposeful and enterprising people who, for certain reasons, were expelled from their hometown. They have to leave their familiar lands and go on a long journey. Their main task is to save all mankind. The fact is that they become aware that the inhabitants of the vast planet are under mortal danger. They make every effort to defend the interests of fellow tribesmen and give them a chance for a happy future. An ambitious scientist named Gary Seldon was willing to work around the clock for TWOW, so that the Empire can recover from chaos and cope with a massive crisis. He made the necessary calculations and predicted a sad outcome. Shocking data falls into the hands of Imperial officials and mere mortals. The authorities are seriously afraid that because of the panic that has begun, a terrible forecast gifted professor will come true ahead of schedule. The followers of a genius are sent on an expedition to try find salvation. Hollywood. The action takes place in 1940s Hollywood, where the most talented actors get the opportunity to become famous all over the world and achieve incredible heights, but few people know what lies on the other side of success. The heroes go to sunny California in the hope of realizing their ambitions and creativity, but are suddenly confronted with a soulless and corrupt system that mercilessly destroys the fate of people, where everything is run by depraved producers and racial discrimination flourishes. Parade's End. At the end of the Edwardian era, Christopher Tycoon enters a devastating marriage with the beautiful but insidious socialite Sylvia, who had a child, perhaps and not from him. Christopher decides to be faithful to his wife for life, despite her infidelity, but the fearless young suffragette Valentine Wannop bursts into his life, taking us from the glittering salons of London's high society to the trenches in the fields battles in France. The end of Parade marks a turning point in the past century, when confidence in the future disappeared, and destinies changed forever. The series consists of 5 episodes of 25 minutes each. The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. The focus is on a young woman named Miriam. She lives in a legal marriage with her beloved husband Joel, from whom she has 2 wonderful children. She lives happily and enjoys life. She has everything a person needs for happiness. The family lives in a large, comfortable house located in a decent area. The husband pursues his career as a comic actor, and she is an ordinary housewife, raising children. One day she learns that one of her husband's successful performances was stolen from another comedian. After this incident, relations in the family begin to decompose, and after some time, Joel leaves home for his mistress. The frustrated heroine does not understand how this could happen. A few days ago they were happy, but now everything has collapsed. The girl is trying to understand what to do next, but the thought of what happened does not allow you to focus. Deciding to fill her grief with alcohol, she goes to the nearest institution, where he gets drunk. After drinking several glasses of wine, the heroine climbs stage and begins to perform his candid monologue, which surprised the audience and decided her fate. A luxury hotel located in Hawaii welcomes new guests who plan to live in a corner of paradise for a week. While the affluent guests are relaxing, the working staff are working and clashing with all the challenges of the hospitality industry. Arman works as a manager. Every time he greets visitors with a smile, although in reality terribly exhausted and facing burnout. Belinda is a healthy lifestyle instructor. She is patient, charming and talented, and her kindness attracts each client. Olivia and Paula are friends on vacation. They consider themselves to be the best intelligence and good education. However, in the future, their friendship becomes less strong. Paula starts a torrid romance with a messenger, moving away from her friend. The fates of guests and employees are entangled in one ball and add up to one story related to privilege, power, human dignity and class differences. Well, what do I have everything for? Like and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Skip. We do not get a return link. Do not forget to write us comments. See you soon with a new video.